raised Anglican Catholic. My grandfather was the bishop of our church, and my dad's whole side of the family went there. I grew up there. It was like my home, my second home. We went every Sunday. I was confirmed Catholic when I was 8 years old. By the time I was 10, I was going to church camps, and my family was still really involved. My mom was teaching Sunday school and classes at the church camps. I made a bunch of friends that I still have today. My freshman year, my dad, My freshman year, I came home from practice, and my dad told us that we had to have a family meeting, which was weird because we've never had a family meeting before. We all sat down, me, my brother, my mom, and my dad, in our living room, and looking at my mom and her crying, I just knew something was very wrong. And I kept asking my dad, what's going on, and he just said, I'm being a bad dad and I have to leave. And I tried to tell him that I loved him and that he wasn't a bad dad, and my brother was telling him the same thing. We just wanted him to stay with us, and he said that he couldn't stay and that he was just gonna leave. He just told us that he had to go and that he wasn't the dad that was right for us. So I got up and I went to my room and I told him I hated him, and I locked the door, and I didn't see him for at least a month after that. I didn't want to talk to him. I didn't care to be around him. I didn't want him in my life. I had so much anger built up, and I found out a little while after that he had to leave because he was having an affair, and my mom was just devastated. She cried every day for at least a year, and that was when I started hating God. I didn't care. I didn't want to go to church. I didn't believe in love. I didn't believe that if there was a God that he would do this horrible thing to me and my family. 2 years later, my grandmother, my dad's mother, passed away, and that really struck our family into a whole new world. She was our rock. She kept us all together, and once she was gone, our family just fell. And I just had no hope for us, and I hated the church. I hated that church so much because I felt like there was so much lying, and just after being with somebody for so long, how could you leave them? I couldn't understand why God would do that to us. Throughout high school, my grades were terrible after my dad left, and I smoked weed every weekend with my friends until I graduated high school, and I barely graduated. I think I had a 2.0 exactly to graduate. One of my really good friends that I've been friends with since I was 7 invited me to church on Good Friday, and when we were sitting there, one of the hymns that the choir was singing was a hymn that my grandmother would sing above everybody else in the church. And I was just sitting there and I could hear her voice singing, and I just started crying, and I couldn't stop. So I put my head down because I didn't want my friend to see me crying. And I just said, Nana, if you're here, I want to know. And God, if you love me, I want to know. And I heard a voice say, I love you. And I felt hands placed on my shoulders, and I heard my Nana say, I'm here for you. I didn't want to look up because I was so scared. And when I opened my eyes finally, I felt the hands lift off of me, and I felt so much better with myself. One day after doing my mom's hair, we decided to go get dinner at Gators Dockside, and Jeremy was there being our food runner, and I hadn't seen him in years, since high school. And I contacted him through Facebook, and I told him it was so great seeing him. And he's like, yeah, it was great seeing you too. You should come out. Me and my girlfriend do worship at a college ministry. And that was like another scary point for me, because I had the choice now if I wanted to go. It was open for me. And so I told him I would go, and I sat in my car for 20 minutes before I went in, and I just prayed. I prayed over and over that if this was the right place to be, then God would let me get out of my car and go in there and listen to whatever message had to be said. And I did it, and I felt so welcomed. God has made me so much more at peace now. I am like so slow to anger, and I'm so accepting of my family, and I just want to love them and show them how good God is. And I'm so excited because I felt that I need to help girls and guys my age. You know, going through divorce is so hard, but to run away from God is not the right thing to do. To run to God is what we need to do. My name is Tori Campese, and